Hi everyone, my name is Saurabh. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my video. This is my first video out of my future videos which I'm yet to upload. And the first video that I thought to put is on Java, the concepts of core Java that I'm going to cover. In this journey, I have taken my first video on a topic called methods. We'll be discussing about methods and how we can write and use a method in core Java. We'll talk about overloading of methods in this video as well. Why in my first video only I'm putting a topic for method, why I'm not talking about all the theories like core Java concepts, variables, object class, all those concepts. I will talk all those concepts in future in my upcoming videos. The idea was discussing about methods and directly jumping on programming is to convince you, to give you an idea like in what way I'm going to discuss all those programming aspects in a logical way which gives you a better view of how to invoke all those concepts so that you feel familiar, you feel that this is something different that I'm going to teach you, this is something different way that I have made my approach so that you come in this journey with me, and in future when I'll be putting further videos on theoretical aspect or the programming aspects of Java where I'll cover end-to-end concepts of core Java, you be with me, you feel that it's worth being with me and giving me your precious time to see my videos. As they say that learning is easy, or there is no other way of learning rather than start learning. So we'll start learning Java, and I'll try to kind of give justification to my channel which says that it's a logical learning. So I'll try to give it some justification in a way that I discuss all those concepts, the logic that I give you, the way that I write those programs in front of you and keep discussing about all those theories. It, I hope it makes some difference. So today, as you can see that I have launched my Eclipse, and I've created a package for me, and in that package I have created a skeleton for my class which has an empty main method. So this is the basic skeleton that if you are familiar with Eclipse, you can create it. All you have to go to your package, right click new, you have to select your class, give some relevant name to your class and choose if you want a main method, and then just click on finish, and you will get your class created, the skeleton created. So we are not going to talk about all those, at least in this video. The idea was not how to create a class using this Eclipse Studio or the workspace. The idea is like how to use methods in Java. So fine. So we have a class, the name is methods, and I have a default skeleton for main method. So again, when I say main method, so inside this class, which default name is method, I have a default main method. So are we going to talk about this main method in our concept, or we are going to write something else and then invoking that method? So yes, we are going to write some different method and we are going to invoke that method. We are going to talk about end-to-end of that method. So as I progress, as I write, I'll be discussing all those concepts. So when I write a method, so something like that, we have to declare a method, we have to give a body to that method, then we have to call that method, and end-to-end other concepts. So straight away we'll write some method. So let's say my method starts with public. So let's say my or let's say before I write something like this, let me just use this default main method as a reference and show you something. So you can see that this is a default method which starts with an access modifier public, then accessibility, whether it's in a static or non-static. Then here it comes like a return type of method, so which could be any like primitive data type or void, or they say like collection object, it could be many other things, and the name of the method and then the parameter. So what I told, the first thing is access modifier, followed by whether the accessibility, I'll say it's an accessibility, where I put whether it's in static or non-static. I'll come on that in a while. Then the return type, and I told you that return type, if your method is not returning anything, it could be void, which stands for nothing. Either I can return any primitive data type like int, character, string, or whatever, the possibility of all the primitive data types. I can return even an object, and if you go further, you can return even a collection or etc. They say. Next, your method name. So my method name in our case is main, and then the parameter. So next is the parameter. So like one or multiple parameter. So this could be, so this could be a normal they say header. So this is like a normal header of your method. So if I take from here, if I take down, so and then if I put comment this line, so or if I just put long multi-line comment like this. So I'm trying to show you like a other way also, so that if you are following carefully, so you know like single line comment is double slash and multi-line comment is like slash, which is like a forward slash star star forward slash, something like that. So it says that so your method should have access modifier, followed by whether it's the accessibility, whether it should be in static or non-static method, then the return type, method's name, and the parameters. So this is called method header. So one first concept for you is method header. So you can say that let me remove this. You can say that the first line or the like header, or like it's a self explanatory that the header of method is called method header, which consists of first like 1 2 3 4 5, so 5 fields. So like it should be first thing should be an access modifier, then a static and non-static, the return type, method's name, and the parameters. Here if you just see this, the name and the parameter, so then only the name and the parameter, if you take this complete field, this is called method signature. So that I'll put like the second concept. So this is like method signature. So I'm not going to write all the like definitions and all, so like that like it's uh, available on Oracle docs, you can go and read it. Here we are not going to talk much about the theory. We'll see like how we can use that theory in our programming way, and during that if I come through any theory, I'll just name that theory, so that and give you some keywords, so that with that keyword you can go and do your self study. So this was method header, the complete part. This is called method signature. This is method body, and inside you will write something like body or whatever. And as of now, my method return type is void. So like as we follow our video will talk about the return type. Like as of now, my method is not returning anything, so return type is void. What if my method is going to return something like a primitive data type called string? So we'll talk about that. Then we'll talk about how to use return keyword and return something like return C or something like that. And we'll also talk about how to call this method and all. So as of now, because we are just taking example of main method, so nobody is going to call main method. Main method is the default method which will be called when we will try to execute this particular program. So I just use this method skeleton to show you a little bit concepts. So if you are more interested on this header part, so you can go and talk about or go and do some self study, or I'll try to put that in my subsequent videos about the access modifier, which could be public, private, protected, and default. I'll talk about static and non-static methods, the multiple return type of the methods, and how to call a method and how to like uh, access the return type of the method, something, all those concepts I'll try to cover as much as possible in this video as well. So let me remove all this and start writing a simple method for me, because we are not going to have this video only with the main method. So let me write a simple method called public, and then let me put this method as non-static, and return type should be void, and my method name is learning, and I'm putting one parameter string a, and I'm ending this with a body. Mark this that the class name stands with a capital alphabet, and method name stands with a lowercase alphabet. Why so? And what is the convention of putting the name of the class or the name of the method? So I have written something. So let's say, let's take an example. It says that my name is Saurabh, full stop, Saurabh is eating. So it's like one information that I'm passing to you, that my name is Saurabh, Saurabh is eating. So it's like whoever is the, or suppose before that, let me just write this like my name is Saurabh. So when I write a sentence, I just write I starts my sentence with uppercase, and then I just say my name is Saurabh. Whenever we come across a proper noun or noun, then we just use that as uppercase. So like Saurabh is a noun, so I'm starting this Saurabh word with uppercase because Saurabh is a noun. So like that in Java, all the classes are noun. So when we put the class name, it should be uppercase. Here and like Saurabh is eating. The next line is Saurabh is eating. So like here eating is a verb, and we do not put verb as an uppercase in a sentence, something like that. So all the methods in Java are verb. So there is no need to put verb in uppercase. Like we saw this in this example also. Like grammatically, it's correct if I put it in the lowercase also. So something like that convention is used in Java also. So in Java also here, when you put a verb or a method, you can name it as lowercase. So all your classes should be a noun with uppercase. All your methods should be a verb with a lowercase. Fine. So once we are having this skeleton, let me write something here. So let me just system out, and here I let I am learning plus a. So if you're not familiar with how to pass parameter to a method and all, we'll talk about all that. So maybe let's say you are new to Java. So when I'm writing a method, I must pass some parameter. So the parameter, how we have to pass? We have to pass like data type and then the variable. So it's something like this. So something like this, data type space variable, which will get a value later. So something like that, you pass int I equal to 1, something like that. So data type, so here in my case, like here I'm showing an example of int I. I'm using an data type like a string, and the variable that I'm using is a, and where is the value. So whoever is going to call this method will pass the value. That value should be of string type. Here, like a value of 1 is of integer type, because it is going to be stored in a variable which has a data type of integer. So value should be integer only, something like that. I'm like writing or defining this method which takes a string parameter, only one, is because there is only one parameter a. Whoever is going to call me is going to pass me a string. So let me call this method here. So here I'll try to show you all the combinations how to call a method, and then I'll be like adding on the concepts. So let me just call a method. So to call a method, we just write the name of the method, and then we just pass the parameter. So here I have to pass one string. It says that the name of the parameter is learning, and once you are calling it, you have to pass a string. So string should be in double quotes, so I'm passing Java, and just ending this line, terminating this line with semicolon. So I'm getting some error here. This error suggests that I cannot make a static reference to a non-static method. So who is making this a static reference? Because when I execute this program, when the studio is trying to compile this method is being called from a main method which is in a static type. This method is being called by main method which is a static method. So static method is referencing a non-static method, which is not possible. Static method must call static methods. So one possibility, and before that, before I do go and do something else, let me just take back the same example. Here I so what I given you is that my name is Saurabh. Saurabh is eating. It means like name Saurabh is class. So my name is Saurabh. So it's class name is Saurabh, and Saurabh is eating. It means like class is doing eating is like a method. So class is invoking method. So it's like class is accessing method directly. So method. So if something like this is happening, so your method must be in static, because static method can only be accessed by class. Class can only access static method. Another way of looking at it is like my name is Saurabh. I am eating. So who is I? When you say like my name is Saurabh and I am eating, it means like Saurabh is one eating, right? Like my name is Saurabh, I am eating. So who is eating? Saurabh is eating. So how you are how you are determining that Saurabh is eating? Because I stands for Saurabh. So I is an instance of Saurabh. Like here I means I am eating. When you say that I am eating, it means like you are eating. Maybe my viewer, they are eating. But when I say my name is Saurabh, I am eating, it says that instance of Saurabh is eating. It means what? Instance of class. Instance of class is object. It means who is accessing the method now? I, which is an object. So object is accessing method. So when object is accessing any method, they can access whether the method is static or non-static. It doesn't bother to them. So preferably method can be non-static, and if you make that method as a static also, so as we saw in the first line, static method can be directly be accessed by class. So if something which is accessible to Saurabh should be accessible to I also, because I is nothing but Saurabh. So if something, if I have a method which I declared as static, if I have a method which I declared as static, so that will be accessible by class also and by object also. But if a method is non-static, then it will be accessed only by the object, not by class. So if you have understood little bit of it, let me show you through example. So here you can see that it says that cannot make a static reference to a non-static method. So I have two options. Suppose when I say that learning Java, so it's like what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to create any instance of this method here. I'm not creating any object. I'm directly calling this method. So if so directly calling means who is trying to access this method? Class. So we saw that class can access a method only if they are static. So one way to remove this error is that I quickly go and make this method as static. So error goes off. And if I execute this program, I get I am learning Java. So how we get that output? Because in main method, learning is getting invoked and Java as a parameter is being passed. So learning method. So if I click here, it says that I'm trying to invoke this method, and Java is being given to this string A. So like it's something like happening. So in backend, what's happening? In backend, string A equal to Java. So it's something like this is happening in backend. And when I'm showing me output in console, so I'm putting a default message called I am learning, and then I'm putting this default message and I'm concatenating my variable also. So this plus A. So A value is Java. So I am learning Java. That's it. So that's a like pretty much like maybe you are aware of all those concepts. As of now, so we'll see other way of doing this. What if I make this method back to non-static, and then how can I access this? If I have to remove this error, then non-static method can be accessed by objects only. So I have to create object of my class. So my class name, methods, and then the object name is equal to new keyword and then methods. So this will create an object for my method, name is m, and then I can put object dot method. So now using object I am accessing this method. So now error is gone. If I execute this program again, I am getting that I am learning Java. So this is another way. So this is the second way that object can access a non-static method. What if now I create this method back as static? I straight away starts getting a warning, but my program is still running. So what is this warning? This warning is nothing but this, that when you are trying to access a method using object, then there was no necessity of making your method as static. You would have left him as non-static. But here I made that static. So it says that the static method learning string from the type method should be accessed in a static way. So it's saying that because in a static method you could have accessed it in a static way. And what was the static way was just by using calling it directly. Let class handle this because it's static method, so class can access it. Let class handle it, and you need not to create any object. So no more warnings. Program running fine. So that's the concept of putting any method in static or non-static. Then you'll say like how will decide whether should I create this method as a static or non-static, in which situation should I create it. So you have your answer. If you want your class to access your method, make it static. If you want your class instance like object to access that method, make it as non-static. So all our default methods or all our like custom methods will put as non-static, and will use objects, and object will access that method. We'll stick to that. because main method nobody is going to call main method. When I'll execute my program, main method gets default by default called. It's like a class by default called it. So here if you put that method in a static, you'll get a warning. What will happen if I run this program? Main method is non-static in class test. Please define the main method as static, because class is not able to access the main method itself, who is going to do all the other stuff. So it's like your body is not having a command on your brain, who is going to give you command on your body or something like that. So main method should be static. So we'll stick to that point that my main method will be static, others will not be static. Like you can, but preferably will not make them static. And while accessing, we'll have an object of method, all object of class, and using that we'll be accessing all those methods. So that's pretty much simple as it is. So we saw one example. Let me remove this to have more readability on our program. So we'll try to go further. Further, we'll so what we saw, like we saw like how to define a header of main method. So for us, header was like access modifier, return type, name, and parameter. There was a body and there was a call. So how to call a method, how to write a method. What if my method is going to return something? So let's say if I'm going to return something, so because I'm going to have all the strings, so let me put some return type string. So like no more void, so I'm going to return something. So if I'm returning something, let's say like whoever will call this method is going to give you some string, and you do some like operation or some modification to that string, and we are going to return it, something like that. So here we are not going to sys out something, we are just going to return whoever will call us, we are going to return him back one string, and he will take care of that string. So how will you return it? So to return, you have to use return keyword. So the moment you will return, use return keyword, you saw that error came from here to here. Earlier there was an error. It says that because I'm having a method with a return type, so I must have a return type or return keyword in my body. The moment I write a return keyword, the error transfers here because I'm not returning anything. The moment I'll return something, the error will go off. So I'll say return, or before that I'll put another thing. Let's say string, let's say C equal to, I'll put I am learning and plus A. So I'm saying that whoever will call me, he will pass me some string. That string I'm going to add in one custom string, store in a C, and then I'm going to return that C to that particular caller. So all the errors gone. So again somebody is calling here. So like in main method, there is an object m.learning. So I'm invoking this m.learning. I'm passing one string Java. So string A equal to Java. What happens now? The moment I call this program, what happens? Main method will get executed. First, object will be created for this class, and then using that object, I'm going to invoke learning method, and I'm going to pass one parameter, string parameter Java. So string A equal to Java will happen. Then that Java will be added here. I am learning Java, that will be stored in C, and C will be returned. The moment C will be returned, so like whoever will call will get something. He will get the moment I put m.learning, I'm going to get something in return. So like I'm going to get a value. The value is like a string. I am learning Java. So I must store that value. Java value should be handled in a variable. Like all the values should be having a variable, and then you access that variable to showcase. So the moment I'll put this m dot learning Java, so the moment this method will be invoked, the end result of this method is a string. So it's a value. So this value should be stored somewhere. So because this is a string, so I'll store this in a value called result. So like m dot learning Java, so Java will go up, I'm learning Java, it will go stored in C, C will be returned, and so like I'm learning Java will be returned. So string result is equal to I'm learning Java, and then I can system out result. I can show result. So if I run this program, I'll get the same output. So you can see that sysout is not now in my method. My method is just getting some string. It's just manipulating that string, returning it back as a result in the string, which is being returned by result of this. So because I'm getting back a string, I'm storing that string in some variable, which is again a type of a string, and I'm showing back that variable's output in my console. I'm learning Java. So this is a pretty much simplest way to understand how to write a method, how to invoke a method, how to write a method which is having a return type, and how to invoke a method who is going to get a return and use that return to show in console. So if you are happy with this, we'll scale up our program. So now we'll go ahead and move towards method overloading. And so far, like see, I have not talked much about this access modifier, the possibility of the other return types. So because I have just taken a string, it should be it could be int, character, float, or anything else. Naming convention, I just told you that it should be a verb with lowercase parameters and all, and return type. This is the simplest program that I could come up with. So if you are stuck anywhere, if you feel like something is not um, clarified, or you want something else, you can put me in the comment box. I can go through my comments, and I can try to incorporate that in my next videos. So coming up next to us is method overloading. So what if I write another method in the same class and with same name? So same class, so I'm not having any other class, so that is fulfilled. I'm having methods in my same class, methods name are same. So this should be a method overloading, but it says that methods are duplicate method learning and type methods. So it's like a class is having duplicate method. So how can I overload a method? So while you are overloading a method, one thing is true that it can be happen within the same class. So that is true for us. Second thing, method signature should vary. So as I told you, method signature stands here, name with parameter. So that should vary. Third parameter is that method overloading will be only considered if your method is having the same name. So learning cannot be changed. So only thing that we are left with is that we can change parameter. So what we can change with parameter? Two things we can change. First, this learning is having single parameter. This guy is also having single parameter. So either you can change the number of parameters. Like here, you can put another string b, so that whoever is going to invoke this method has to pass two strings. Or you can, let's say if you're having a single parameter only, you have to change the data type. So like this guy is going to have a string, this guy will have character. So you can see that the moment I'm doing all this, the errors are going. So no more duplicate method warning or error. can I have method overloading just by changing the data type? This is like a always argued concept. So like if I just changing the void return type, I'm just changing, everything else is same. So this guy says, it's still a duplicate method. So you cannot do method overloading just by changing the data type. So that is for sure. So that you can just jot down that you cannot have method overloading just by changing the data type. You can have it, but if you change the signature, and which I told you that if you have something like this string b, so now the warning is gone. So in this case, so let me first handle this. Let me just call this. So the beauty of this studio, that Eclipse Studio, is that I can show you like something that I love. Here, if you highlight this learning, the moment you highlight where you are calling this method, it just says which method is being called. That method will get grayed out. So here, when I highlight this learning, just double click on this learning, this gets highlighted. It's like now when I'm calling this method is being called because I'm having now two methods. So which one is being called? So in this case, it's pretty much understood because we are just passing one parameter. So this learning is looking for one parameter. So that got by default called. Suppose if I have to invoke this method, so how will I invoke? So I can again write the same line, but this time I have to put something else. So I'll like put Java. Okay, sorry. So I have to just put two parameters. So I'll just put core, comma, Java. So it's just like and so here I'll put this as output, and I'll just come back what I am doing. Let me just first have this. I'll show you. So like I'm now invoking the second method. If I highlight this, now you can see that this second one got grayed out. Why? Because second one was looking for two parameter. When I'm invoking this, the invocation was passed two values, two strings, and who was going to handle two strings as a two parameter? This particular instance of method. So it was looking for string A and string B. So string A becomes core, string B becomes Java. So when how I am going to handle this? So string C will be I am learning A plus B. So like I'm learning A code, B Java. I return C. The C will be returned, which will be caught in output, and output will be shown. So if I just execute this program, you can see that first output is coming, first result. So this result output is result variable is here, and who is getting value from this learning, who is getting this value passed. So Java is being passed here. It is getting concatenated on I'm learning. So I'm learning Java, that is being returned, being saved in result, and being output as well. And then second output is here. So this is being again called in learning, but this time second learning is being called, where I have two parameters a and b, a equal to core, b equal to Java, in the same order, and then I am learning a plus b. So like I'm learning core Java, so I'm learning core Java. So suppose if you want a space in between, so you can put here a space. and you can execute it. So now space is there. So this is like method overloading while having number of parameters change from 1 to 2. What if I wish to have same number of parameters? Then what can I do? Then you have to change the data type. So this time the data type will be changed. So let's say I'm having character. So I'm having single parameter learning, but here the data type is changing because I told you that only the signature should vary if you are doing the overloading, and signature, the name cannot be changed. So only thing that I can do is with parameter. Either I can change the data type of parameter if number of parameters are same, or else if the number of parameters differs, data type doesn't make sense. Fine. So now how will I invoke this and how will I handle it? So let me just fine. So I have invoked this method. So let me call this. So when I call this, so let me just put result one, or else I'm not sure like how many name I'll come up with. So result one, result two. So this is result one. This is result two. Now I have to show result three also. So I'll show result three. So where is result three? So result three I'll write. So again I'll write this as result three. So like I'm invoking this. So now if I have to invoke this method, so I have to match the parameter. So it's looking for a character. So I'll pass a character like, let's say J. So parameter character should be in a single quote, string should be in a double quote, something like that. So here still I'm getting some error here in this line because this guy is going to the moment I'll call this learning. So this learning is being called, this learning getting a character, and that character is being added here. I'm putting an additional value, so I'll just remove this. So what will happen? I'm learning space J, that will get printed. So we are not bothered about like whether we are putting in a relevant sentence or not. We'll just execute this. So that gets I'm learning J because I just passed one character J. So this, like I'm using the same name of the method just by changing the data type because I wanted to have an overloading with this method, and similarity was that this is also single parameter, so this is also single parameter. So how to achieve overloading? Just by changing the data type. So I just wrote this, the skeleton what? So skeleton of this program was learning. Name of the method was learning, and parameter was character. Whoever will pass this character will be stored in A, and then I'm writing a string where I'm putting that I am learning plus A, so I'm learning J because I'm going to get J when this method is getting invoked. So I am learning J, that is getting stored in C, and I'm returning C, and that return is being saved into result 3 because when this learning is getting invoked here. Just see this, I'm passing J, J is coming here, J, I'm learning J, and is being saved in C and returned in C. So that comes and get saved in result 3, which I'm returning at sysout. I'm getting output. So that's one another way of doing this. One last way of method overloading is that to do that I'll have to change this particular program, this particular code. So I'll just put this in end to have more readability. I'll put it here now. So the last uh, way that I can show you that let have this guy as I'm not this as character and this as a string, let's say, and I'll write another, and here I'll put first one as string and second one as char. So this is another way of doing method overloading where you are having a same number of parameters, data type of parameters are also same, but order is different. First character then string, first character then string. So if I try to put here char and string, so that will throw me error between these two guys. It will say that I'm trying to duplicate. But if I just switch this, first being string, second being char, so that is like visible, that I can do. So let's handle this. So as of now, let's okay. So this learning. So not. So this is say that I'm going to call this learning. It got a possible match here because the first one is a string and first one is getting a match here and number of parameters here and here is matching, but it's getting an error. Error what method learning is the method learning in type method is not applicable for the arguments string because I'm passing a string and it's looking for a string character. So here I can just remove this j as a character, so error will go off because now this learning is being called and it's looking for two parameters in order string and character. So string and character is being passed and being concatenated here and being returned and being output also. How to handle this particular guy? So whoever is going to call him have to pass first a character and then a string. So let me just write that particular code also as a result 4. So first I have to pass a character and then a string. So let me pass to complete this word Java. I have to pass like this, and then let me just sys out as result 4 and let me just handle here like if I'm doing something. So just remove a space. So what will happen, J and AVA will not get a space, so it will get added. It looks like I'm learning Java only. So let me run this program and let me just now completely show you the output and all. So I'm getting 4 sys out, so I should have 4 sys out. 4 sys out is there, and how this program will get executed. So invocation will start from main method. First thing object is getting created, and then first object is calling a method learning passing a string Java. So this the moment I double click this learning, I can go up and see like which learning is being called. So this learning is getting a string Java. So Java string a equal to Java, that comes here being concatenated with I am learning a. So it's like I'm learning Java stored in C. C is being returned, so return type should match with the variable. So C is a string, and that's why this return type and this return type should match. So C is being returned, so whoever is calling is getting a string. So m dot learning was calling, so it's getting a string C. So that's string I'm learning Java I'm storing in result 1. So again a data type variable equal to I am learning Java, and so I'm learning Java. Second, now this learning result 2, I'm passing one string one character. So this guy is being called here, one string one character. I am learning A, B. So string is Java or string is code and B is J. So like let's just string is code and character is J. So I am learning code J. I am learning code J. Third, this learning. So who is getting called? This one. It's looking for only one character. So I am passing only one character. So only one character. So I am learning. I can put here something like this. Ja, and A is being added without any space. So I just return C. If I just re-execute this program, so I can say okay. So let this guy pass not J, let this guy pass A, so that A will be passed and A will be getting added. So to remove confusion, I'll just put this as X. So now character X is equal to A, and that E is getting added here. If I run this, so I'm learning Java. So what I did, maybe I just confused the new guys, the beginners. So like I'm passing a character, which character is A, to learning method. If I go up, so this character, so in backend it's working like this. So character X is equal to A. Now this A is getting appended in this string. I'm learning JAV. So only A is missing in this alphabet Java, so that I'm getting whoever is calling this method. So X is having character A, so that is getting concatenated here, being saved in C, returned as C, and that return is caught in result 3 and being output as like I'm learning Java. Now the fourth option, I'm calling a method which is passing one character and then one string. Character is J, string is AVA. So I'll go up, so looking for a character and looking for a string. So first character is J and then AVA. So I'm learning J AVA. So I'm learning Java with no space. And then that output is being saved in C, returned in C, and caught in result 4, output as result 4. So if I run this, I'm learning Java. So I'm using same method name, and so that's within same class. So it's called method overloading. We saw that single parameter, so data type is changed. If another way is that I can have number of parameters changed. Another thing that if number of parameters, the data type is also same, the like order is changed. So this could be, and we also saw that if you just by changing the return type in the very beginning of the video, I shown you that just by changing the return type only, we cannot have a method overloading. So you must come to this part, change the number of parameters, change the data type of parameters, or change the order of data type of the parameters. Three different way possible, three different way I have shown you. Now before I close this video, the last part is that can I overload main method? So yes, you can overload main method. Only thing is that then the question will arise that uh, when I execute this program, main method by default get called, and this main method then handles all the calling of other methods. So if I having multiple main method, then which main method will be called? So anyways, we saw that when we have method overloading, anyways we are going to change this part, right? We are going to change this part, then only we'll have this method overloading. So if I have another main method, that main method will not have the similar parameter, obviously. So with saying that, now I'll say that class will call only that main method as default main method who is having this kind of signature. So that avoids or that like gives the question of the answer of our question. Suppose like if I'm having another main method, let's say public static void main. to have this main method overloaded, I must change the parameter here. So here I can say like I can have here it's in a array of strings. Here I can have any other data type. So like I can have like a let's say string a again, and then I can put something like this body body of main method. So error is gone, and here I can write something like simple CISO, like main method is overloaded, something like that. And who will invoke this main method? Again, main method can invoke this main method. I can put that m dot main, and here I can pass some string. So let's say overloaded, and here when I use this, I put like this a, and I just remove this. So main method is overloaded. So like when I call, so I'm getting one warning. Let's see what is it. The static main method from the type must should be in a static way. So like fine. So like it's a static method, and I'm calling using object. So we talked about this concept first. Like I can directly write this main because it's in a static method, so class can directly access this. So I'm calling this main method. I'm passing him in a string overloaded being saved in a concatenated with my custom string and sysout. If I invoke this, so main method is overloaded, so that is also comes an output. So it's like I'm having one main method here, one main method here. So now only this main method, so like this is being called. So like when this program is getting executed, class is invoking at first by default this main method. This main method is calling other main methods or other custom methods. That's why other custom methods are being called, and all those resultant sysout is being given to me in an order. And then finally this main method is being called. So this main method is being called after this main method and after all these methods. So like after five methods, this method is having sixth caller. So like how now my program uh, like uh, like got to know that which main method it should use as a default main method of this class, because by its saying its signature, the main method which is having this kind of signature will only have the main method. And rest, if you can write if you wish to overload your main method, you have to anyways going to change the parameter or the signature of main method. So anyways, this will be unique, so by default only this will be called, and others you should call inside your main method, either in static way or non-static way based on your choice. So that should be pretty much that I have to tell you in this video. So like um, maybe I missed to tell a lot of concepts. The idea was that being this first video, my idea was to convince you about my teaching methodology, the logical approach that I'm going to teach you, the uh, further concepts, like when I'll tell you about method overloading, constructors, this keyword, super keyword, or the arrays, strings, and there are other concepts also. So whenever I'll be taking all those concepts, I'll try to be like this. Like I'll start with small piece, then I'll be adding this, and then I'll show you like when I add this, what should be the like dependency, what error will come, how to remove that error, what is the significance of all those errors. So that way we'll try to learn all this. So that way we'll try to have our logic. So as of now we are just trying to understand the skeleton or the concepts. Like we understood method overloading. Once maybe with subsequent videos I'll be dealing all those concepts. Once we'll come up with the exact programming, when I'll be using all these concepts, we'll have more logical approach, and then I'll tell you how you will decide, like being a huge case, being a case, how you decide like how should I name my classes, how should I name my methods, how many methods should I have, should I use method overloading or overriding, should I use constructors, which particular looping or which particular conditional method that or statement should I use, like all those like ingredients how to use to cook a particular dish. We'll talk about all that. Let's first talk about all the ingredients, all the recipes that we're having, and then we'll talk about the particular end result as a programming. So thank you for listening me so far. And if you like my methodology, or if you like the approach that I am using to teach you, please like my video or share my video with your friends who need this kind of video, who have started learning Java or who wish to learn Java and is looking for a this kind of teaching, or looking for this kind of helpful videos. Please share with them. If you want to see my upcoming videos, do subscribe my videos as well. That's all. Thank you.